Pedro Negri. Transcription and subtitles Pedro Negri. On the night of last Wednesday, October 1st, the sky was lit up by explosions with colorful lights in Caracas, Venezuela. Anyone looking from the outside would quickly think they must be in a festive mood, celebrating something important. After all, it's not every day that we see this kind of celebration around there. But pay close attention to the building under those fireworks. It has a bizarre story, and what you're seeing isn't a party, it's a message. Maduro just brought Christmas early to Venezuela and chose to kick off the festive season with fireworks over one of the darkest places in the country. A place that, in fact, has already been denounced by the United Nations. And this is just the beginning of what you need to know about what's happening in Venezuela right now. The building you just saw is called Helicoide. Its story began much differently than it is now. This building was designed in the 1950s to be a luxurious shopping center, a true architectural gem with spiral walkways that converge in a huge dome. But it was never opened. It was abandoned for decades, until the Venezuelan government turned it into a headquarters. And today, well, its story is disturbing. That's because it serves as the main detention center in Venezuela. But it's not a regular prison. The United Nations has investigated and reached a serious conclusion. Crimes against humanity, if you know what I mean. It's more than human rights violations. It's much worse. Prisoners, politicians, journalists, activists, and opponents of the regime go through this place. And the horrors that happen inside have even been documented by international organizations. The methods include electric shocks, suffocation with plastic bags and water, sexual violence, and forced physical positions that cause extreme pain. And do you want to know what it is? Even worse? The detentions happen without any process. People simply disappear. Some die while in state custody. And the Venezuelan justice system, according to the United Nations, doesn't punish anyone. This macabre place operates as part of the state's repression machine, and there's no control at all, much less any consequences. So now you see that image from the beginning of the video with different eyes, those fireworks lighting up that building where people are tortured. Now you understand, because this isn't a celebration, it's a provocative act. It's as if they're saying, we can turn this place, where terrible things happen, into a setting for a national celebration, and you can't do anything to stop it. This is insane. But why did Maduro decide to do this right now? Why did he reschedule Christmas early again? His official justification is actually quite simple. He says that this measure stimulates the economy, that it guarantees the right to happiness and joy for the Venezuelan people, that it's a way to resist aggression from the United States. But analysts around the world disagree with that. For them, this is just a smokescreen. Maduro is actually diverting the people's attention from something much bigger that's happening. Because at this very moment, while Venezuelans are being forced to get into the Christmas spirit in October, a military crisis is brewing right next to the country, and this crisis could explode at any moment. Watch. Since August of this year, the United States began a military mobilization in the Caribbean that is unprecedented. And when I say mobilization, I'm talking about an impressive show of force. More than 4,000 Marines were sent to the region, a nuclear submarine, destroyers equipped with guided missiles, a missile cruiser, F-35 fighter jets sent to Puerto Rico, reconnaissance aircraft. It's an absurd military force, concentrated in one region. And the official justification from the United States for this is that they are fighting drug trafficking. But there's something different. This time, the Trump administration decided to reclassify drug cartels as narco-terrorist organizations.
And this
name change wasn't just symbolic. It completely changed the rules of the game. Because, traditionally, when the United States fought drug trafficking at sea, the approach was law enforcement. The Coast Guard would intercept suspicious vessels, inspect them, arrest the crew, seize the drugs, and take everyone to trial.
You boarded, I didn't board.
But that changed. Now, the strategy is no longer to capture, it's to destroy. On September 2nd, American military forces attacked a speedboat in the southern Caribbean. 11 people died. On September 15th, another attack. 3 dead. September 19th, another one. At least 3 dead. A few days ago, on October 3rd, another attack happened. A boat was destroyed and 4 people died. The United States Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, even posted a video showing the explosion. In total, at least 21 people were killed in these attacks in just 1 month. According to documents sent by the Pentagon to the United States Congress, President Trump determined that the United States is in an armed conflict with these cartels. This means that the crew members of the vessels are considered illegal combatants. They do not have the right to a trial. They are not protected by the Geneva Conventions, and they can be eliminated as military targets. For the United States, this is not merely law enforcement. It's a war.
Don't make mistakes. What you're doing now is not training. This is an exercise. In the name of the vital national interest of the United States, to put an end to poetry, Sixto management.
And there's one more detail that few people know about in this story. United States defense sources admitted that this military mobilization serves as a show of force, and that it was designed to give President Trump a wide range of military options against Venezuela, including direct impact operations. That is, of course, if he gives the order for it. And it's no secret to anyone that the American government directly accuses Maduro of leading a drug trafficking cartel, and that there's a $50 million reward for information leading to his capture. So let's make it clear what's happening here. Every missile fired at a speedboat in the Caribbean is also a message to the Venezuelan government. It shows the United States can use force in waters near Venezuela. It's military pressure, it's intimidation, and Maduro knows it. His response was immediate. Venezuela launched military exercises called Bolivarian Shield. 150,000 soldiers were mobilized, along with the armed forces, police, and civilian militias, land, sea, and air exercises across the entire national territory. The official goal is to prepare the country for a potential foreign invasion. But these exercises also serve another purpose. They unify the population against an external enemy, create a narrative of heroic resistance, and turn Maduro into the defender of the nation against imperialist aggression. It's powerful propaganda, but Venezuela's preparation extends beyond military drills. The government has already drafted a special decree and is ready, just waiting for Maduro's signature. It's called a state of external commotion. It's authorized by the Venezuelan Constitution in the event of an external conflict that puts the nation in grave danger. And if this decree is activated, Maduro receives extraordinary powers for 90 days and it can even be renewed. He can then fully mobilize the armed forces and the civilian militias. He can also take military control of critical infrastructure, including public services and private industry. In addition, he can close the national borders and suspend certain constitutional rights. Last Saturday, October 4th, the Venezuelan armed forces did something revealing. They carried out communication exercises for a possible armed conflict. They trained strategies to communicate in case of a foreign invasion. They practiced using military radios, messengers, and even rudimentary methods like word of mouth, drums, and smoke signals. The Minister of the Interior made it very clear that they are preparing for the worst. And while all this is happening, while warships are circling the Caribbean and military forces are training for conflict, Maduro's regime is turning its attention inward to the Venezuelan people, and it uses propaganda as a weapon. The early Christmas isn't just a distraction, it's an imposition. He is forcing people to take part in a state-created alternate reality. That's why the fireworks on the Helicoide are so significant. It wasn't a mere oversight or lack of sensitivity, it was a well-thought-out choice. Lighting up a torture center with fireworks while political prisoners suffer inside is a disturbing symbol of what the regime is capable of. So, look again at that image from the beginning. Fireworks over El Helicoide on the night of October 1st. Now you see the full picture. It's not a celebration, it's the symbol of a much bigger crisis. It's Maduro consolidating internal power while preparing for external confrontation. Meanwhile, the United States is preparing militarily just a few kilometers off the Venezuelan coast. And in the middle of all this is the Venezuelan people, living under a regime that the United Nations accuses of crimes against humanity, facing a severe economic crisis, seeing their rights suspended in the name of national security, while being instructed to celebrate an early Christmas. Millions of Venezuelans have already fled the country in recent years, and those who stayed now watch this military escalation without being able to do anything, trapped between an authoritarian regime and an international crisis that could explode at any moment. And what do you think about this situation? Do you believe that this conflict between the United States and Venezuela could really escalate into something bigger? If this video helped you better understand what's happening in Venezuela, share it with more people and subscribe to the channel to keep following the analyses about the geopolitical conflicts that are shaping the world. That's all for now. See you next time.